So let's continue our journey on Docker. Now till this point, we were able to get the images, run the containers. In fact, we were able to run a Java application on Docker, and not just normal application. We were able to run a Spring Boot web application. So if you see the code which we have done before, we had this REST demo application where we were doing only a simple thing. We were able to get this hello world, and things are working out. So we were able to get the jar file. We have a running container of Java. We were able to put that jar file there. Everything was working, right? And it's still working. I have not stopped the server yet, or is it stopped? Maybe. The point is, we are getting everything in the container, right? Now you can take this container and you can take it to any cloud and you can push it there and it will work. Or you can give it to someone else. This image, you can give it to someone else and it will work. They'll be able to run this Docker. Now here's the problem. See, in the real world, we basically work with databases, right? Or different services. In this, we just have a Java application with Spring Boot stuff and things are working out. But what if you want to connect with database? What if you want some extra containers? That's right. So in one particular project, you'll be having multiple containers. So what if you have multiple containers? How will you deal with that? And that's where we are in this particular video or series of video, we are going to focus on how do you run multiple containers? One container for our application, one container for, let's say, database. Now, database, DBMS can be anything. You can use relational databases or NoSQL databases, your choice. In this video, I'm going to use a relational database, which is Postgres. Now, the configuration is similar to different databases. If you want to use them, you just have to change the line where we provide the connection string, username, password. Everything else remains same. Now, so let's say in this, we are going to run two containers. Now, when you have two containers, how will you run those two containers? And then we ran some command and it was working. Now, let's try to use something called a Docker Compose. Now, of course, we'll not do that in this video. Let's go step by step. Initially, we need a project, right? So a simple Spring Boot web project where you can have a database connection, let's say Postgres. And then we'll try to move it towards Docker Compose and how do we run this too. Okay, now to achieve that, what I'm going to do is, let's create a new project. So create a new project, I will go back to my browser, and here, let's go to start.spring.io, and then we'll select a Maven project. Let's keep it Java, and the version is 3.1.5, which we are using from a long time. And then let's say this is Telusko, and this is Spring. Of course, it's just web application, but let's say Spring. Or what should I name this project? Let's say student app. So basically we are going to create a Spring Boot project where we can manage students, right? Say add students or delete students. Now based on 2 or 3 parameters, let's say 3 parameters, ID, name, and age. Let's go with this 3. And you can see we are getting a jar file with this version 17, and the dependencies we have to add only 2. One, we need to add a Spring Web. And next we need to also add the JPA, right? Why do we need JPA here is because we want to store data in database, and you can use normal JDBC, or we can use something called a ORM tool, let's say Hibernate. And to make it more easy, we can use Spring.JPA. Apart from this, I also need a Postgres driver, is because I will be using Postgres as my database. If you're using MySQL, use MySQL here. And any other database, you can use that. Just this 3 and click on generate, it should work. So you can see we got the project here. Now what I will do is I will just unzip it and open that in the IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, so I've unzipped it. Let's open that with IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, I want to open that in this window. Yeah, let's go with this window. Or maybe we can just say new window, because maybe we want to refer something from the old project, right? We can just copy paste. Okay, so we got these 3 things here. If you can see the POM file, we do have Postgres, we do have Spring Boot test, which we are not going to use now. And then we got data JPA, we got the web starter. Things are looking cool, but we are only doing it for the simple project, right? Okay, so now let's do something here. What type of service I want? So basically I want a controller which will return me the list of students. So I can say this is student controller, and this will return what? At the rate. So I want this to be a REST controller. And what else? Okay, I need a method here which will return the list of students. So when I say list of students, let's say in my database, I have multiple students. right? So I can say list of student, and I will say get students, which will return a list of student. But unfortunately, I don't have a student class. And okay, it's just because I'm using Copilot here, it is giving me suggestions. Maybe we can use it or not, that's a different thing. Or maybe let's use it. So first of all, let me just get this class, create a student class in the same package, yes, student app. And here, I'm going to say this will have 3 parameters. One is int ID. Okay, just giving me a suggestion as well. That's great. Sometimes it's good to use the AI tool. Okay, but I don't want course. AI is thinking ahead of me, which I don't want. Okay, so basically you can see we got 3 variables here. And for this, we need getter setters. Of course, I can use my IDE to do that. I don't want to use the AI tool now because you can see this giving me a suggestion of the constructor after the class. That's not right. AI tool has a lot of time to evolve. So let's say we are using these 3 parameters or 3 variables. We need getter setters. Also, I need a toString. Maybe I want to print those students. So I will just right click here and say generate a toString. Click on OK. And that's it. You can see we got a student class. Let's go back. I can also make this as a component, but normal Postgres should not be a component. Okay, so I want to import the list, and here I want my AI generator to give me some suggestions. Okay, so at this point, it is returning a list of students using some names. It is also referring Ranga, who is my friend. Okay, we can go with these names, that's fine. Why we are getting an error here? Because we don't have a constructor. So what I will do is I will just go back here and I will say, hey, I need a constructor. Right click, generate constructor for these 3 parameters, and done. Let's go back here, no problem, and you can see it should work now. And now to test it, what I will do is, okay, we have not assigned the request mapping to this, and I want this to be done whenever I say get students. So when the request goes for get students, it should return this list of students here. Okay, so now there is no problem, I think. Let's run this and let's see if this works. So I will just go back to the application and run. Okay, I got an error. Now the problem is I can't run this, unfortunately, is because we are using this data JPA. So at this point, I can just comment this part so that we can get the data. So I will just run this. Okay, I've commented it, but I forgot to do Maven refresh. Let's rerun, and there should not be an issue now, or there is an issue. The port is busy. Okay, a lot of problem to solve. So it's just because we are running a lot of projects here. So let's go back the server port, and this time let's go for the port number as 8090 because I think that's the port which is free for sure. Let's run. And you can see it is running now. Let's get back to our browser to test it. So this time we'll not go for 8080, it is 8090. Enter. Of course, we are not set anything for the home page, but we set it for the get students. And when you say enter, you can see we got this 3 data, and that's good. Okay, this looks good. Now let's go back here. And now let's try to connect with database. And for database, of course, we need few more files. And we should be using proper packages for controllers. It should be in controller package. Another classes we're going to create now is service. It should be service package. But since we're into learning stage, we can write everything in one place. It is easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I will say student service because I want to perform some operation, or I can directly work with the repo since I'm lazy. And I want this repo to be interface, and this should be connected, or this should be implementing code repository, or maybe I can go for JPA repository. Okay, now for JPA repository, I have to uncomment that once again, the POM file. Okay, so uncomment that, refresh your Maven, and go back to repo. We should be getting the JPA repository. We got it. And now, basically, we need to make sure that you open this. Okay, looks like we do have a problem. It should be extends. Okay, it's just because initially I went for the class, and that's the thing I was having in my mind. Anyway, so we got this student repo and we know the power of JPA, right? Where you don't have to write any methods. It will give you some default CRUD operations by default. So let's use them. The only thing I will do is at the top of this, you have to say add repository. Now for the production, you should not be doing directly this because I'm going to use this repo directly in the controller. You need to have more layer in between. So let's say service layer. But since we want to make it fast, we'll go for this. And I want the hold on this repo. So I will say student repo. And on top of this, I will say auto wired. Okay, so things are looking good. It should work. The only problem is, even if you run this code, it will not work. You know why? It's because nowhere we have mentioned the database to connect with. And that's what we are going to do now. How do you mention things which using, okay, why we got in different language? That's weird. So basically we have to set up some database configuration. Now what are the configuration? Of course I can type it or I can just copy paste it so that we can make it fast. Okay, now this is a general configuration for your Postgres. Now even if you're using MySQL, we can use something else. So basically for MySQL, you're going to use MySQL here. Since we are using Postgres, we are using Postgres now. Okay, but then we want to change something here. Now, since we are working with the Docker, so we want to make sure that we run this inside a Docker container. So what are things we need? So basically we will need different things here. But at this point, let's think about Docker a bit later. I just want to make this work. Now this is my username for Postgres. This is my password for Postgres. And that's my database. Do we have a database? Let me just verify that. So what I will do is I will open pg admin. Okay, waiting for the password. That's the password. And now, basically I was doing some testing for the Docker and that's why we have this Docker here. But I want to make sure my pg admin is working. Okay, so you can see I have a lot of databases here. We also have a student database. We're not going to use that. I want to use this Telusko database because in this, if I see schemas and if I look at the tables, okay, I do have some tables here, but we're not going to use those tables, right? We want a student table. So things are there. Basically, I do have the service running. So what I will do is let's try to run this and see if this works or are we missing anything? Okay, actually we are missing. So whenever you want to store data, you need to make sure that you have @entity on top of it. And this should be your primary key. So we can say that with the help of ID. And we want it to auto-generate the primary key. So I will say generated value, strategy, and this is what we want. In fact, you can import this also instead of having the qualified name. I just want to import this. Okay, so this is how you complete this. And now let's run this and let's see if this works. I will go back here, run, okay, yeah, stop and rerun, and we'll see if something is missing, we'll add it. Okay, looks like there's no problem. Let's go and verify where is our browser, okay. So if I refresh now, okay, I'm still returning, okay, things are not done yet. So what we are missing still is we are returning the hard-coded values. What we need to do is we need to say return repo.findAll. So this will return the data from database. So now, if I rerun this, okay, no problem. Let's go back to the browser and refresh. Okay, so you can see it is empty because we don't have any data. But also, I want some data. Because if you see, one of the configuration which I've mentioned is if I go back to the application properties, I've mentioned that I want to load some data, okay, some predefined data which I want to use. Okay, so we have to also make sure that you load data. So we have to put this one extra line here, and this is applicable for Spring framework about anything about 2.5, Spring 2.5 or Spring Boot 2.5. Okay, so now I just need to mention this, but I want some data as well, right? Default data. I don't want to enter data by myself. So what I will do is I do have the data file with me. I will just get a data file. So basically what you do is you just have to create data to SQL file, which looks like this. And I do have some data in this, some insert statement, which will be by default will be there. And by doing that, if I restart now, I don't want this message every time. You can see there's no problem. And if I go back to the browser and refresh, okay, we got an error. No default constructor. That's right. We are creating an entity, so it should have a default constructor as well. Okay. And now let's rerun. Go back to the browser, refresh, and you can see we got some data. We got a lot of data here. I think it's loaded 2 times. That's the issue. Anyway, we are getting data. That's what we are concerned about. Right? We are not concerned about how we got those 2. So basically, we ran it for 2 times and it got entered in 2 times. Doesn't matter. But basically, we were able to get the data as well, right? And that's important. Now, this is your simple web app where you have Spring Boot web app, you have data JPA and Postgres. But now, what I want to do is I want to containerize it. So I want to make sure that this project runs on Docker. Basically 2 different containers, one for the app, one for the Docker, one for the Postgres. How do we do that? Let's see that in the next video.